Good morning. Nope, sorry. Not good morning, good afternoon. Flyover people. Just wanted to jump in here and have a quick chat with you. By the way, this is Bob Pew Pew at WRFF Radio Free Flyover, beaming a signal through the internet all across the Democrat curtain, trying to surround the United States in all cities, including Portland, Seattle, New York, Chicago, LA, and then some, and especially Portland. And let me address the people in Portland. And this is about the Democratic Party, the people that you follow. And we know that that's the truth, and we know who funds you. It's all out in the news now, and you know, you have to trust the news, right? News always tells the truth. You know, just ask CNN. They'll tell you. So the Democrats. Well, what about the Democrats? The Democrats are the most desperate individuals I've ever seen in my entire life. Do you all understand that we're like totally like on to what you're doing? I mean, you're not even trying to hide it anymore. You know, you're trying to overthrow the government. You're trying to tear down our heritage. You're burning cities. Have you convinced us? No, you're turning us against you. You should have went to court. Let me tell you something. Here's a story. Here's a lesson you can learn. Okay, it's about being Native American. It's about the Indian Wars. Maybe you should read up on the Indian Wars and how many years they fought from the time that the Europeans set foot on this continent in the 1600s, all the way up until the 1960s. Because the last actual insurrection that took place on the U.S. continent between Native Americans and federal authority and civilian authority was at Wounded Knee, at the insurrection of Wounded Knee. But if you did your homework, you'd know things like that. And you would know that every effort that the Native Americans made to enter a confederation with each other, but they couldn't do that because they're all different tribes, just like you're all from different states and different colored people. And you're in the mix. And you might not speak the same language or have the same goals or have the same desires. You might not want the same things. Some of you want a job. Some of you want food. Some of you want power. There's a problem. Because the way you're going about getting power is not the way it's going to happen. Because if you'd studied something like the Indian Wars, you would know that the Native Americans made war on the European people who are entering this country for 200 years. 200 years and beyond. The Native Americans fought with rocks, knives, tomahawks, stone axes, rifles when they finally got their hands on them. Day in, day out, year after year after year, they fought and they fought and they fought. And guess what? They had some minor victories here and there during the Indian Wars, but overall, they lost. They lost the entire battle. And you know why the war. They lost the entire war. They lost the Indian Wars. You know why? Because they didn't know how to go to court. Because the Indian Wars was a battle between the steel and the stone of war working against a pen and a piece of paper. And white man using what? The writ, the bond, the warrant, the legislation, the treaty. Understand that? That's how they got to where we're at. That's how we got to where we're at. Because they used a legal civil system to take the land. And you know this. And there's no doubt about it. We were at war with each other. We won victory after victory. We won this war just as fairly as the Lakota Sioux would go to Ojibwa tribes and kill them as well and take what they had. That's life. That's the way it works. Now, you spent an entire, 3.5 years, 4 years, we're going on 4 years, that you burned cities down, that you shot police officers, that you killed people, you beat people down, you drug people out of their cars at your stupid roadblocks, and you beat them till they were unconscious? And you expect us to heed to you? You got another thing coming, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and whatever other anarchists are mixed in with this bullshit. You're not going to win because you took it to the wrong place. You went down the same path that the Native Americans went down. You went down the same path. And if you think you're going to come at us with force and you're going to win, you better think again. Here's where the Native Americans won, and they won their rights. And if you don't think they won their rights, you better go look at what they really have at this point in time. Because if you don't understand that part and how they made out, you should read up on it. Believe me, they did a lot better than you think they did. And you could argue that point with me all day long, and I could show you direct opposite proof and truth of what they really got. They made out very well when they decided they were going to go to court and secure their rights, keep people out of their territory, secure their fishing rights, build schools for their children because they needed to go to court. And this is where you're blowing it. You didn't go to court. You're not going to court. The people who are funding you look like they're absolutely, unbelievably, unequivocally desperate to take down the United States. Well, we're desperate to keep it. But if you don't do it correctly, you don't do it civilly, we're not going to pay attention. We're not going to like you. Because most Americans don't want to deal with terrorists, and we don't want our government negotiating with terrorists, and you are terrorists. Well, that's all I have for today. I hope you all get to hear that over in Portland. I think you should hear it, and I think you should pay attention, because things are not going to go the way you think they're going to go. On that note, I bid you adieu. Good day to you, ma'am. Good day to you, sir. This is Bob Pew Pew coming from WRFF Radio Free Flyover in the Midwest, from the Great Plains to the Great Lakes and everything in between. Take care. Keep praying.